Hello dear students, welcome back to my channel. We are going to continue the next part of the 13th topic, that's organism and the population. In this we see the phenomena that's adaptation. So what's adaptation? Adaptation is any change of an organism. Either the change is the morphological, physiological, or it may be the behavioral change that enable to survive and reproduce in its habitat. So there are the two. One, we see the first of all, desert plant. What's the characteristic features of the desert plant? That is, this desert plant have the thick cuticle on the leaf surface. There is a presence of sunken stomata, leaf modified into the spines. This it is observed in case of Apuntia. There is a presence of the CAM pathway of photosynthesis as the stomata remain closed during the daytime and opens during the night time. In case of aquatic plant, the aquatic plant it shows the characteristic like have evolved parenchyma for buoyancy for floating. Leaves have waxy coating. Next, we see the phenomena that's a desert animal. The desert animals it includes a kangaroo rat. This kangaroo rat living in the desert of North America never drink the water. This is a very important fact in case of the kangaroo rat. Whenever this kangaroo rat read the water, this animal it is dead. The water requirement it is fulfilled by the internal fat oxidation. So this kangaroo rat does not require the water. It is also able to concentrate its urine so that the minimum volume of water it is lost during the excretion. Allen's rule that animals for colder climates generally have the shorter snout, ear is short, tail is short and the limbs to minimize the body heat loss. In case of polar seal, a thick layer of the fat below the skin acts as an insulator. In the desert, leader keeps their body temperature constant by behavioral adaptation. They bask in the sun and absorbs the heat when their body temperature decreases below the comfort zone. Burrowing habitat also helps to protect the desert animal from the high temperature. Next one is a population. First of all, we see the phenomena, it's a population ecology. Population ecology is the area of ecology which links ecology of the population, genetics and the evolution. Population means it's a group of individuals having a particular geographical areas. Population attributes. A population has a certain attributes that an individual organisms does not have. These attributes are the first one is a birth rate means a natality, death rate means mortality, sex ratio and the population density. As the first one is natality. Natality is the birth rate of the population. It has the greatest influence on the population growth. Natality is a crude birth rate or the specific birth rate. The crude birth rate it's usually when calculating population size. That is the number of birth per 1000 population per year. Whereas the specific birth rate it is used relative to specific creation such as the age. If, for example, if in a pond there were 200 crayfish last year, through the reproduction 800 new fish are added in it. Taking the current population to 1000, we calculated the birth rate. That is 800 divided by 200 is equal to 4 offspring per crab per year. Absolute natality. There is a two phenomena it's included. First one is absolute natality and the second one is a realized natality. Absolute natality means the number of the birth under the ideal condition. When there is a no competition, abundance of resources such as the food and the water is there. The realized natality means the number of births when the environmental pressure comes into play. It must remember that absolute natality will be always more than the realized natality. Second one, we see the mortality. Mortality is the death rate of the population. Mortality rate or the death rate is a measure of a number of the death in a particular population in proportion to the size of that population per unit time. Mortality rate is typically expressed in the death per 1000 individual per year. Thus, a mortality rate of 9.5 in a population of 1000 would mean a 9.5 death per year in the entire population, or 0.95% out of the total population. Again, there is a two phenomena is included. First one is absolute mortality and the second one is realized mortality. What's the absolute mortality? That is a number of the death under ideal condition. Means there is a no competition, abundance of resources such as the food and the water. Realized mortality means the number of the death when the environmental pressure comes into play. It must remember that absolute mortality will be always less than the realized mortality. Next one is the sex ratio. The sex ratio of the population affect its reciprocal affect by the birth death, immigration and the immigration rates. It is measured as the ratio of the number of individual of one sex to that of the other sex. The male and the female in the ratio of 1:1. It is generally the most common evolutionary stable strategy. Hope so you understood it. Thanks for watching my video. Stay tuned to my channel.